Greetings, adventurers. It is I, Derpherp, back at it again with another deck profile. In this case, we got a really cheap budget deck that is Floowandereeze. Some of the things you'll see that I have in here, maybe you would say aren't budget for a lot of players, but we'll get into why it's very much a budget deck, no matter how you cut it. Blue is dirt cheap, and there's ways of making it cheaper, versus playing compared to how I'm playing it now. I think it is a fun deck. People hate it. It's kind of stunny, really irritating, but I like the deck. It is fun. I've grown to like it a lot, but let's go ahead and just get on into it before I start sounding like I commit war crimes on the daily. So, with our main deck, let's get into it. We got 3 Rabina. You know, we all know, gonna go ahead and get ourselves a little baby bird. 3 Eaglin, go and get ourselves a big bird. Then 1 each of 3 and Toucan. You don't need any more of them. That's plenty. And then round out our blue birds. We got M-Pen, our basically skill drain special summon monsters. Or skill drain on legs, really. And for attack position, special summon monsters, and can have attack battles, which is great. Really big dude, 2,700, big bird. Like it. That's our monster lineup of blue. While we're at it, we might as well show what we got for the spells here rather than just cleaning up. Got triple tap. Great. Running 3 of it for a reason. This is one I'm glad is. I remember back when it was so expensive, and I was running like Jack in the Hand for a budget replacement for it, which was really depressing. But no, Advent Adventure's nice to have. I'm glad they reprinted it back when they did. That was really fun. They made being able to actually play the deck at a much higher power level. Really nice. We got 2 more blue cards, being ourselves Town for some more summons and Unexplored Winds. We're running 1 of. We can get it off of M-Pen. We can really get any of this off of M-Pen, but we don't need more than 1 of it. Blue is. I don't really have to say too much about blue. It's been around long enough. You know what it does. If not, you can pause the video. What it does, what the cards do. But right now we're going to go into our non-engine and just kind of tech options that are in the deck. One thing, first off, we have Mist Valley Apex Avian, or Negate. You're running it. You're playing this deck most likely. I don't see List really not, so it's a good big beater, and it's a Negate that returns to hand. You got Ryza, basically you have to spin cards back to the deck / hand. It's really good. We love them. We love Monarchs. Then one that I don't really see too often at all is the order I haven't seen. I don't really look at blue too often, but this is just what I got. Is a Morga Bird of Perfection. It's nice. It's a additional body that we can get on the board, letting us go into if we are doing link plays or something, getting more tribute fodder for and it's an 1800. But we can normal summon it if we've summoned a already or whatever. But it's nice. It's a good card. I do like it, and it's a wind when it's on the board, so it can also trigger rises effect. Like you'll add get an additional target then, so that's nice. That really the whole deck's wind, so always happening. The rest of it, we got some absolute toxic stuff coming up here. Yeah, that's toxic. This is a war crime. Featherstorm. The card's busted. It's stupid. We're running 2 of it. You could run 3. I have ran 3. I think 2's plenty. Um, this card's stupid. This card is a real big, since it's toxic. I hate it. Or I don't play this deck. I'll let y'all know. I have it. I don't play it that often. Almost never. D-Fissure. I mean, if it's a graveyard reliant deck, you're killing them when this hits the board. Being able to get rid of their stuff now against stuff like Malice, they want their stuff banished. That's unfortunate for you. GG, go next. What do you want me to tell you on that one? Necro Valley, for decks that have graveyard effects and want things to move around and special summon, like things like Orcust or whatever and all like that. No, it's staying in the grave, not leaving. You're not special summoning. You're not shuffling in a deck. Here, die. Orcust, no. We're not doing this. That's Necro Valley. Takes care of that. And then to search the Necro Valley and our other field spell for map, Terraforming. And then for what I'd say is really our consistency package, which if I had the card, I'd run it, but is Pot of Extravagance. Got 2 Pot of Extravagance. If I had Prosperities, I'd run it. I don't. And Prosperity's not like that expensive anymore, but if you're playing it on this deck on a real tight budget, which you can absolutely build this deck for dirt cheap, but you just wouldn't play that. You just run the Extravagance. Maybe bump up a copy and change up the extra deck. But that's it for this, like, we're kind of like tech pieces and you know, non-engine, just toxic stuff. Onto our other non-engine, more of like removal and interaction. We running something that needs to be banned. T-Shifter. Get rid of this card, Konami, please. And then Kitty Crow. Bystials at home. It's good. They can hit anything though, which is better than Bystials in some instances. Which I could run it. You could run it at 3. This list, I like how it is. So having it at 2 is fine. And it's not like every deck is like tier. Back when I built this deck was to deal with tier because I also played tier. A lot of my choices here are still from that, and because my locals does have a lot of graveyard like related interaction still, but I do think Crow at 2 is fine. Book, that's just good. Being able to dodge some like effects, failures, or by setting it and being able to target them so they're not face up anymore. Also, and just being able to stop whatever really sometimes, like attacks or something. Like that's we're not in 2004 Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, I know, but things like that. And it's my locals, sometimes it does when you're playing, especially like really weird stuff that you're not expecting. Things like that can happen. I think Called by the Grave. Ash hurts us really bad. Yeah, Ash sucks. Droll sucks. A lot of the hand traps in the meta do suck. We could play Cross Out Designator, which I have them. I don't play him in there. It's kind of a deck my brother borrows when he wants to participate in events because it can do decently into my tier list. So I'd rather him play something that isn't going to get crushed by me. But we're going to go on to the extra deck now, which is pretty alright. I'm happy with it. There are things I would change potentially, but once again, I don't have Prosperities, so I'm not too concerned with it. To start off with our Zeus package, we got double Nightingale, Downerd Magician, and our ulti Zeus. Pulled this out of my at my OTS like pretty recently, only a couple weeks ago. Or yeah, it was nice. It was nice to be able to actually get something juicy at one of those. But this is our Zeus package. This is right here a little bit of like where some the budget would go to if you were trying just to upgrade it somewhat. But the extra deck you could just throw out the window if you were trying to run this deck on a super tight budget. And at the end of the video, actually, I could just put a list of like how much it is upgraded versus not. But really, we'll probably just go with like how much it is not upgraded with like the extra. Anyway, we're going to Knight Phoenix. I have Goddess in here just because it's not in order. None of that, the extra deck's not in order, I'm sorry. I just pulled it out of the box and went with it. But Goddess, we're not getting that much material really, but it's a technically there. We could do it. A Spider if we ever got nibbed. Something to do with that token. We get nibbed. We don't know how we got nibbed, but sure. It's just there. Once again, it's just something that I had. Unicorns, at least something we could do. Animas, actually, realistically, do play some level 1s. A lot of level 1s. Almirage, once again, is something. Then we got some big booty dudes in Access Code and Oral Sword. Oh, I also got Trisbania, IP, and Little Knight. Now, realistically, if you were trying to just play this as cheap as possible, it'd be just as effective. I almost never go into the extra deck with this. Almost never. The only thing I ever touch generally is the Zeus line. That's it. All I do with this deck is just go Zeus, usually. And then maybe occasionally an Anima, if I'm just in one of those situations where it can be useful. It's alright. I think this is plenty. And if you were just trying to really play it on a super tight budget, cut out the extra deck. You don't need it. You don't need Prosby then in that case. Like, I don't go into it, so I'm fine running Extravagance. If I get Prosby, okay, then I'll upgrade it a little bit. The extra deck, the main deck's fine. Main deck, you can run it as is, with or without a nice extra deck, I think. That's my opinion. I'm not a Flu expert. I'm not going to pretend to be. But I do think the deck is perfectly fine as it is. There's a chance you're going to hit your package if you Extravagance, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, but as is, it is still a very strong deck. Absolutely still something you could just take to locals and mop up pretty well, I'd say. Like my brother, who hasn't played the game in ages and has played a lot less card games than me, went and got second place at the locals where I got first with the previous tier video. The deck can play. It's got some teeth. I do actually very much recommend it to players who want something cheap and don't necessarily want to dive headfirst into something really expensive and complicated. The deck's simple, it does its thing, it does it really well. The downside is people just hate you. But anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you think of the deck. If you like it, if there's something else you want to see from me. I have other decks I'd love to show, and it also gives me an excuse to pick up more cards and make lists. Do I prefer paper lists like this, or y'all want to see some on Edo Pro or Omega or something like that? Let me know. I'd love to just give y'all more content. Anyway, that's my Flu list. I like it's fun deck. Just actually gonna hit you a little bit. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful day, and farewell.
10, 9, 7, 5, 3, sound 1, start.